chose to do this assignment over the novel Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. It's written by Gail Honeymoon. It was written in 2017. The author is from Glasgow. A little bit of a summary about the novel is it's written about a 29-30-year-old woman who's a loner. She keeps to herself. She follows the same routine weekly. She goes to work. She goes home on the weekends and she eats pizza. She drinks 2 bottles of vodka and she drinks a bottle of wine. I would consider her to be a functioning alcoholic. She had a traumatic childhood, and you'll learn throughout the novel. The author kind of leaves little clues about what happens, but you don't actually find out until the very end of her heartbreaking story of her childhood. This novel has won numerous awards. It's also being made into a film. Reese Witherspoon and MGM are partnering up and they're working on that now. They haven't set a release date. There are a few important things to know about Eleanor. I would say that she's depressed. She's an alcoholic is the main points. She works in an office at a graphic design company, and that leads her to following the same schedule. She is the protagonist in this novel. The other important character would be Raymond, who is the IT guy for the company she works for. He also is the one who comes in and saves her. When you find out at the climax of the novel is when she attempts to commit suicide. The other important characters are there's a rock star named Johnny Lohman, who it's the first concert she ever goes to. She falls in love with this musician. There's Sammy, who's an elderly man that her and Raymond saved together. Sammy has a daughter named Laura, who is her hairdresser. And other than that, just her co-workers and her boss, who is Bob. The setting of the novel it takes place in Glasgow, which is also where the author's from, and it was written in 2017, and it's a modern day. She talks pretty current. My overall response to this was I definitely could relate to Eleanor in some of her situations. You'll find out that her mom did some pretty evil things to her as a child, and you don't find that out till the very end. But overall, I think it's a great novel. It's motivational because it encourages you to overcome your past and that you can move forward. There are a few different things in the book. I would say depression is the one that stands out the most. Loneliness, alcoholism, family issues, and then mental illness, which I feel goes hand in hand with depression as well. So what is depression? There is a growing epidemic, I feel like, in America. Depression affects everyone. At some point in their life, someone will have some type of depression. There's many different types of depression. I know there's postpartum depression, there is post-traumatic, there's PTSD, there is major depressive and persistent. I feel like Eleanor was a foster child, and I looked up some statistics of depression in foster children, and it does rank higher than depression in individuals that were never in the foster care system. In the book, Eleanor states that she always had her physical needs met as a child. But I feel like one of the major issues with depression is emotional needs. And as a child, when you don't have emotional needs met, that can lead to depression as well. And I feel like that's what happened with Eleanor in the book. There are many different symptoms that come with depression. And it's important to know those symptoms, so if you or if a loved one or a friend is experiencing these symptoms, you can help them seek out help and get their depression under control, because you certainly do not want them to attempt what Eleanor did in the book. There were a few different quotes in the novel about depression that I felt were important. But in the end, what matters is that Eleanor survived. And on page 324, she wrote that in the novel. And I feel like that was the highlight of the book, to let everyone know that yes, she did have a traumatic childhood. She did attempt to commit suicide, but she acknowledged those issues. She went to a counselor and she got help and she overcame all those issues. And my works cited was the last slide. Thank you.